Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor shall it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love.
Aggregate what they can do with the PST effects, and
Greetings and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brett and I'm glad you're here. I discuss books. I discuss the books that I am currently reading, like Sold on a Monday by Christina McMorris, books that I have read, like The Prophet from Khalil Gibran, and books that once belonged to Thomas Tversky, who is no longer with us, but we have his books. This is episode 10 of the Dead Man's Book Collection. For the last few weeks, I've been talking about the sci-fi. I haven't been really posting a whole lot in the last 2 weeks, but the last two videos have been about my sci-fi books, and I've kind of gotten away from some of the Okay, so I'm literally destroying old books right before your eyes. That was a classic fail. Maybe I haven't had enough coffee today. Maybe 6 cups wasn't enough for the day. Okay, so I'll start by saying this. If you're new to my channel, there's a playlist I'm going to put above where you can link to a playlist of all of the videos in the Dead Man's Book Collection and start at video 1. I'm very excited for today's video and I'm excited to show you these books. They're pretty old, so I have absolutely no reason to be destroying them this way. But without further ado, let's get into it. No, before I get into that, I wanted to read comments. That's what I wanted to do. Okay, so let me get to these comments. Ooh. Hope that everyone's doing well. Been a rough few days. I haven't put out much content in the last 2 weeks. I haven't been feeling my best. Tiana Washington 8869 writes, "Are you reading from Daniel Black's book?" Yes, definitely. I read one and the other one was on Audible. Do you go to your local library to purchase books? When I have before, when I saw an announcement that my local library was doing a book buy, I did pick up books then, and they were almost nothing. And it seems like those were the burned books that they were destined to get rid of, you know what I mean? So yeah, I do at times. I don't actively go to the library to purchase books. And it says, the library in my neighborhood sells books 50 cents for paperbacks, $1 for hardbacks. And 25 cents for children's books. Those are great prices. I got 3 bags of books for $18. That's really dope. Sounds like the library book hauls. There is a Salvation Army store that sells books for 50 cents and $1 for hardbacks, and paperbacks are like 50 cents. So yeah, I will go there, and if I see something I like, I'm going to pick it up. But I mean, to be honest, I've been everywhere in town. I've looked at them all, but you know, so they're not easy to find. But every once in a while, I do find a gem or two. Actually, I do have another video that I'm going to do. It's a book haul. I picked up Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I actually went and found a copy of Pride and Prejudice, so yay. Thank you for your comment. I really appreciate it. Athena Agnes writes, so happy for this channel. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Agnes. Or is it Athena? Athena Agnes. Crafty Hippie Chick 3839. I know this is a response. As I sat with my cup of tea to catch up on missed videos, I heard my comment read. I got you. Thank you for reading it and the compliment. It wouldn't have mattered if you started the video that way in describing Billy. I would have read it anyway. I could tell by the way you talked about it that it would be an emotional journey. That's part of the reason I moved it up on my list, but I didn't realize it would be that emotional. Thank you for all the great recommendations. My books to be looked into is growing. Question, do you annotate your books? I marked Billy up. No, I don't annotate my books. What I have been doing is I will put a little mark or something in there, something that I want to remember. But right now, I just don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable writing in my books yet. So I just haven't, not in the habit of it. I've thought about writing in the books in pencil. But then I start thinking about it. What if someone gets a hold of my book collection and they have absolutely no clues, no traces, no references, no nothing. They have no indication that the books belong to me. So it has given me something to think about since I've gotten this collection, but I've yet to mark anything in books. But what I have done is there's a website, I don't know if you guys heard of it. It's called Libib, Labib. Somebody correct me on that, Labib. And I decided I wanted to scan my books. So I downloaded this app, the free version, of course, and I began scanning. I'm going to do a video, and it's going to be like a scan party. And I haven't, and you can make in this, and I'll just talk about it for a second. In this, and I scanned with my phone. I didn't buy a fancy scanner or any of that craziness because I don't know. This was all new to me, but I was able to create a collection that said Black Lit Geek, and I created another collection that said Tversky. So I was able to scan in some of the books. All of these books don't have barcodes, like this one right here. It doesn't have a barcode on it. So these are the ones that I have to enter manually. It's a pain, but I have to do it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the books. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. If you haven't, please do so. I would really appreciate it. I do love the engagement. I do love getting the views. I do want my channel to continue to grow. It was growing at a super fast rate, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit, but I understand it's been a couple of weeks and I just haven't felt my best, but I have been getting some good reading done, so hooray for that. Let's get into the books. The House of Seven Gables, Nathaniel Hawthorne. A house cursed by a man sent to the gallows for witchcraft. Under its many gables for almost 3 centuries, the descendants of Colonel Pyncheon have lived. From generation to generation, the curse has endured. Through perpetual remorse of conscience, a constantly defeated hope, strife amongst kinfolk, various misery, a strange form of death, dark suspicion, unspeakable disgrace. This book appears to be very interesting. I do plan on reading this. This is Nathaniel Hawthorne. I had heard of him, of course. I've heard of him, but I've never read anything. Nathaniel Hawthorne, 1804 to 1864, was born in Salem, Massachusetts, of a once prosperous seafaring family whose ancestors included a judge at the Salem witchcraft trials. Anyone know that? Leave a comment. Let me know if you knew that. A Puritan heritage, together with secluded life in the household of his widowed mother, shaped his grave, introspective nature, and even marriage, enriching though it was, failed to change a lifelong need for solitude. It was in 12 lonely years of painstaking practice that Hawthorne mastered the art of writing, and it was in spiritual isolation from his own times that he produced his 100 or more stories and sketches and the 4 great novels. Wow. Okay, the next book is the Pocket Book of Quotations. It's a new collection of favorite quotations from Socrates to the present. Come on. There we go. I see this book, and the first thing I saw were these red pages, and it reminded me of the infinity of mirrors. It did remind me of that book. I thought about it as soon as, just like, I don't know why I even remember that. Just like Rosemary's Baby is green. Well, the copy that I have anyway. Okay, so this is a new collection of favorite quotations from Socrates to the present. I began thumbing through this original pocketbook edition, 24th printing, April 1974. I saw a quote that interested me in here right off the bat. It was from Mark Twain's Pudd'nhead Wilson's Calendar. If you pick up a starving dog and make him prosperous, he will not bite you. That is the principal difference between a dog and a man. Interesting. Don't know how much of that I believe given today, but yeah. This book, I don't know how I'm not even 100% sure that I haven't talked about this book already. It's an old copy of The Wizard of Oz. I don't know why I feel like I spoke about this book, but I did have an interesting perspective on it. This is an old book. 29th printing, I believe. 28th printing. This is a old book from the 50s, 1958. And someone actually, you can't see it, but this is tape. This is some thick tape holding this together. And, everyone knows the story, but I have an interesting take on this. Very interesting take on this. Only the wonderful Wizard of Oz can tell Dorothy how to get back to her home in Kansas. Only the wizard can give the Scarecrow the brains he wants so much. Only the great Oz in the Emerald City can give the Tin Man a real heart and the Cowardly Lion the courage he longs for. So they go off down the yellow brick road through the scary dark forest and the deadly poppy field. From one magical, marvelous adventure to another. Poppy fields, is that a drug reference? Could be a drug reference. But when I looked at this and I read that, it just became so clear that they're off to see the Wizard of Oz. Who can give the Scarecrow the brains he wants so much? God. Only the great Oz in the Emerald City. So that would make the Emerald City heaven. You guys following me? Okay. Only the great Oz in the Emerald City can give the Tin Man a real heart. So I thought for a moment, was this in some way written as Frank Baum wrote this, L. Frank Baum, as a way to introduce children to a belief in a higher ideal, someone greater than themselves, someone that can heal them, someone that can give them what they feel that they're lacking, someone that lives in a far off place, a magical place, a place of wonder, but a place that you're definitely willing to go through a lot to get to. So who would that make the devil? The wicked witch of the East? I'm just saying, I don't want to get into a philosophical debate about it, but I'm just saying. So my next book is called Do and Dare. This is an old book, and it says Bob. Did you guys hear that? This book is literally coming apart. I don't know who Bob is, but this book is so old. It doesn't even have, it's by Horatio Algier Jr. I saw it online. I saw a few of them, and it says in the preface, Do or Dare is a story full of adventure and as such should appeal to all young readers. The hero, Herbert Carr, like most boys, studied about the western part of the country and dreamed of traveling through its cities, mountains, and plains. But he never thought it would be his privilege to do so. Being the son of a poor widow and living in a small town, his advantages were limited. He was compelled to work for small wages and help to support his mother. His pleasing personality won for him many friends, one of whom was a wealthy young man, George Melville. Through him, Herbert's ambitions were realized in many exciting experiences which he had proved most interesting to the reader. Printed in the United States of America. These are the kind of stories that back in the day, they wanted young boys to read. It says Robert Stratford. You can read that. And on the inside it said Bob. I don't know who he is. It's a very, very old book. Very, very old in terrible shape. So I'm going to have to put that in my little case over there. Okay, so the next book is called Catherine. Okay, this is a book, and I have to read because it doesn't have a cover on it, so I'm going to read from here. Set in the vibrant 14th century of Chaucer and the Black Death, the story features knights fighting in battle, serfs struggling in poverty, and the magnificent Plantagenets Edward III, the Black Prince, and Richard II, who ruled despotically over a court rotten with intrigue. Within this era of danger and romance, John of Gaunt, the king's son, falls passionately in love with the already married Catherine. Their affair persists through decades of war, adultery, murder, loneliness, and redemption. Okay, so this is a little bit of classic literature. Okay, the next one is Chacha Vanze. His name is Paul, The Mountains of Allah. I looked this up because I was interested, and this is a historical love story, but from 1952, first edition. But the thing that I found interesting with this book is Chacha Vanze is that I believe it was his father, Iliad, who was considered the founder of Georgia. Not the Georgia that we know, but the Georgia near the Black Sea, meaning Russia, over that way. And it talks about the Caucasus Mountains. So when I saw this, and I thought about the Caucasus Mountains, it made me think about the Nation of Islam, right? With Yaqub and belief that 6,000 years ago, a scientist named Yaqub in the Caucasus Mountains created white people. So I'm interested in seeing what this is all about. It's interesting. That connection I thought was very, very interesting. So I don't know. The next one is The Roosevelt Myth by John Flynn. This one didn't have a cover on it either. The Roosevelt Myth by John Flynn. This one didn't have a cover on it either. 1948. And I had skimmed through these books, and this is the thing of it. These books were kind of cast to the side because at the time when I first started this collection, there was nothing identifying about a lot of these books. There was nothing inside them. There was nothing written in them. Some of them didn't have jackets, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to go through some things to discuss this book. So I kind of pushed them to the side, and now I'm getting to these, Garden City Publishing. But what I did was I found this chapter. This is in chapter 6 called War Clouds. Control over the minds of men became as important to the dictator as the armies and police. And as it happened, the European militarist welfare police states had at their disposal two of the mightiest instruments of propaganda that the world has ever known, the radio and the motion picture. This book is about President Roosevelt. I saw the word communist in that book like 30 times on one page. Okay. The last book I'm going to talk about today was by Robert Louis Taylor, Winston Churchill, two-time Prime Minister of Great Britain. And this book says An Informal Study of Greatness, published in 1952. This is a picture of Winston Churchill right there. I thumbed through this book a little bit. I can't believe I can't find there was a very interesting, look at that. What is that dust? What is that, a big mound of DNA dust on this book? Look at that. That's just literally like a huge dust bunny or something. So this book is actually pretty interesting. Captain Winston Churchill during World War I in France. Hope you get to see that. Besides being the father of Miss Jerome, he was also known as the father of the American turf. His diversified parenthood made no difference to the Duke, who finally decreed that if the match must indeed go through, a fat dowry was in order. After the two families had cooled down a trifle, this matter was settled to the satisfaction of all. Okay, so I do notice that this collection does have a lot of books that hinge upon World War II. So I would think that was an interest of his, which is really good because I do have a lot of books, these historical fiction books that are around the same time period. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so those are more books from the Thomas Tversky collection. I want to thank you all for watching this video. My name is Brett. I invite you to subscribe, like this video, click the like button, share this video with a friend because I could use the views. You know, I was going to do one of those real corny videos. Real corny videos. This was my first YouTube check. No, But I do have a YouTube check on the way, and I know exactly what I'm going to do with it. I'm going to buy more books. Yeah. So I'm really close to buying this collection. I couldn't afford it. I still can't afford it yet. But through a little finagling, a little saving, and my annual bonus from my day job, I have a collection of 1,000 books coming. The only thing is, I have a small apartment. 1,000 books in here. I don't even have 1,000 books now, and both of these shelves are full. I could probably squeeze more books on there, but I like my shelves to be aesthetically pleasing. Okay, I don't just I have to be able to see my books. It's just my preference. I do have spaces. I have these lamps right here that I have John Coltrane's album, Lionel Richie, and Michael Frank's. I could put books there, and I do, and Jody Watley in the back. I can stack books there. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have my sci-fi novels on 2 bookshelves over here, the small narrow ones, and I have two other ones that were in my bedroom that are kind of have plants on them right now. They're kind of small in the back. So I was thinking, how can I make 1,000 book collection work? And then I said, okay, I'll get a wall unit. I'll get a wall unit and have to rearrange something. I may have to move the sofa, move the TV over here, so I could have that whole back wall. So that means that I would be totally book wrapped. I would have books all surrounding me. So who doesn't want that? So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. I'm really thankful to have the opportunity, and I'm really interested in getting that. Someone's out there making noise. I'm getting that done. I hope it all works out for me. I don't hope. It's going to work out because it has no choice. We'll see. We'll see. I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Brett, and I'll see you next time. Peace.
What they can do with the Geek I effects, and